Okay, so
Okay, we are live. So this is Luis. So we are working over some technical difficulties here. So this is Luis. I'm project lead at Aragon, and this is our second community meeting. So as you guys know, the community meeting is a place in which you can go to our subreddit, which is r/Aragon project, and you can basically ask any question about the project, our plans, how development is going, or any question that you may have, and we will answer it here in the live stream. So we had a question for this one regarding the website. So in our website, we referred that Aragon companies are customizable and hackable. And so there's a question if they are actually like hackable, like in the sense that they are not secure. So we meant hackable in the sense that they are customizable. So like you can basically like hack into them and like basically create new modules, new apps, change how they behave. Not hackable in the sense that you can like go into them and like steal the funds or things like that. So the answer is they are not hackable in that sense, or we are trying them not to be hackable in that sense. So we just fix that into the website. So thanks SFW4586 for the contribution. There is another question by Waves Aragon Neo username on Reddit. So he says that there are now lots of new platforms gaining ground. So he says, for example, that Waves and Neo are gaining ground. And if there is a mechanism that can be implemented for projects that choose those platforms to use Aragon for governance. So I will probably like answer in a very brief manner, and then maybe Jorge has something to add on if we are planning to support multiple chains. But basically, we are right now we are on Ethereum. We are super bullish on Ethereum, and we think Ethereum has by far the best development community in the crypto space. So right now we are targeting and supporting Ethereum. So I mean, it shouldn't be very hard to run Aragon on any Ethereum virtual machine compatible blockchain, but we have no current plans for Waves and Neo support.
Yeah, as Luis were saying, like we're actively following the development of other coins. Obviously, the most the easiest for us to look into is the ones that use the EVM for obvious reasons. But we're looking at new coin developments in case something would happen to Ethereum. But we really believe on the ability of Ethereum to scale and to kind of fulfill the vision.
Cool. So that was kind of the two questions that we had for this community meeting. There doesn't seem to be any other questions for now. So I just want to remind what's the process for asking questions here. So we are doing this monthly. And so we are doing an AMA in our subreddit. Please ask whatever you want to ask, and then we'll add it to the agenda that we post in GitHub. So Tato usually collects all different questions and puts them there in a GitHub issue, and I will repo Aragon's last meetings, and we then go through them. So there are not any other questions for this current community meeting. So if there's anything that the team wants to hash out with the community, or to any question that has came from another different source or whatever, just now is the time to answer it.
And yeah, because we had so little questions this time, we could like see how the meeting goes for a little bit, see if we have any questions from the live audience on the YouTube, like the live chat. So if you have any questions, please do ask some. Yeah. Did anyone have anything they wanted to talk on the team about the community or anything from the team? Okay, so now we have one question from the live chat. Hi, I'm new to Aragon. If you could tell me one simple use case for it. Anyone want to take this?
Sure, I will answer with a couple of use cases. So one of the most simple use cases in the blockchain community right now is that teams of people are raising hundreds of millions of dollars to deliver on multiple products. And so the problem with all of this is that people are putting money into tokens, and usually these tokens, these open source projects, are built by part by the team, part by the community. But usually the community doesn't have a huge say on the roadmap or the development or the execution of the project. And so Aragon enables decentralized governance and voting for this kind of projects. And so that enables also a new level of transparency that we haven't really seen before, in which you can basically see all the different funds and where they are getting deployed. So kind of that fear of people putting hundreds of millions in the hands of a few team members is being dismissed by a governance mechanism in which you can place all the money and then vote where that goes, and you can all see where the funds are going, and that really increases trust on the underlying DAO protocol, network, whatever we are talking about in the blockchain space. And there are a few other more traditional use cases. So, I mean, with Aragon, you can basically run any kind of organization that requires humans, basically. So if you think about how things are run today, we have a few intermediaries, banks, notaries, governments, and so that's quite hard to run an organization on top of that kind of very outdated framework. And so if you think about that with Aragon, you can really the DAO, the decentralized organization, has its own let's say bank account, and also can have different token holders that get to decide what to do with the funds. And then you can really customize that for use cases. For example, if you want to open up a nonprofit with people all around the world, doing that in the traditional manner would probably take you months, while in Aragon you can do that in 15 minutes. So that's another interesting use case. And finally, for open source projects, that's one of the use cases we are most excited about. Open source projects didn't really have a business model, a viable and sustainable business model until now. And so now, for example, you can be an open source project, and you can basically create a decentralized organization and issue tokens that represent some governance inside that open source project, for example, that code repository. And then some sponsors can buy your governance tokens, and they get to decide things on how the open source development is done, while you as a creator or the maintainer of that repo, of that code base, get funding, which you need to actually continue development. So I mean, there are a lot of use cases, but I think the most exciting ones are the ones that have to do with things that couldn't even be done before, like for open source projects or blockchain projects.
Okay, now we're getting some questions. So let's take one from Reddit. There are now lots of new platforms gaining ground. A lot of projects will use platforms such as Waves and Neo.
I already took care of that question like before, so I think there are no other questions.
So we have questions on the live chat as well. Okay, so a couple of questions in the live chat now from the YouTube is, okay, let's do first one. Polo, when? Well, that's not really up to us. It's up to the exchanges to list tokens. So we can't really affect that. It's going to be on any exchange whenever it's listed there. Okay, next question. District 0x will be listed on Binance. Is there a chance for Aragon to be listed on in the future to target the Chinese audience?
So yeah, status said we don't like actively are pursuing exchange opportunities. That's not where our focus is. Our focus right now is product. So regarding the Chinese market, what we're gonna make is we are gonna be sure that the next releases are basically very usable and also very easy to translate to other languages. So we are able to deliver a product that is like usable by people in India, people in China, people in other regions where they don't probably even have the same like kind of character encoding and things like that. So that will require some work on product, but that's what we are trying to do to achieve like a bigger audience in the world, not being listed on exchanges.
Okay, so the next question then would be, why would you use Polo? Okay, we answered that one. Are you planning as an organization to achieve full decentralization, and how? This is probably a thing for Luis or Jorge. So Jorge.
Yeah, thanks, Satu. So the idea is like we're very interested in using Aragon ourselves as soon as this is feasible to do. We're also kind of thinking about whenever like the development of the current version is closer and closer, actually using like ourselves using Aragon as some sort of bug bounty program. Like we will put some like a bit of funds there and ask people to try to break it or something like that. But yeah, like ideally, like Aragon like should be run on Aragon as much as possible and as soon as possible. Like that's what we're about. Like, and if we don't use it like our own thing, like who will?
Okay, then there's next question. So let's say that there are two DAOs in the same business, hence they are competitors. How can you prevent that one of these DAOs take over the other one buying its tokens just to vote for bad decisions in that competitor DAO?
I think the case for this one is a purely economical thingy. Like, in order to acquire tokens for another DAO, like if you need 50% of the tokens of the DAO, you're probably putting the price through the roof because like you cannot buy like 50% at the same price. And also like you would be buying half of the company or whatever part of the company to tank the company. So you would be like killing your investment. So I think that the matter is not like whether it's possible or not, but making it so that the incentives don't make sense, and then people won't do it because not like, or like rational actors won't do it, and doing this is against their interests.
All right. So next up, we're gonna go to the question. Is there some sort of token compensation in place for open source contributions to the project? If not, have you thought about it?
So we're planning to do multiple bounties in the actual code base. So as Jorge was saying, like once Aragon is ready for the mainnet, there will be bounties for, basically it would be a living bounty. Like basically if you manage to hack into the DAO, then you can like steal funds that are there as bounty. And then for right now, we have a system for people that are contributing to the code base, like fixing issues and all of that. And so basically that's a bounty mechanism that we use that is called committed. So you can view the issues that are open, and if they have a bounty attached to it, and then if you submit a fix, you can basically earn money, Ether for that.
Okay, so next up we'll have a follow-up question for Jorge. So this is about the tokens in the DAO. So pretty much they are open to be bought at any time for anyone.
Sorry, the question was if anyone can open a voting at any time. I mean, if so, like the rules by which some certain actions need to happen in order for it to happen, like that, those are defined at the DAO level with the bylaws. So it will be up to like the people of this DAO to decide.
Yeah. Okay. Then what's the level of enforcement from the legal institutions to the protocol and the funds? I'm not sure if this is about protocol as in Ethereum or Aragon. Maybe we can, yeah, we don't really have any other questions. Maybe the person can clarify this.
I mean, to the question if the token, like if the DAOs are open to be bought at any time, that's up to the owners of the tokens to decide if they want to sell the tokens or not, or like create tokens or not. I mean, that's definitely up to the people that run the DAO.
Regarding the legal question about Aragon, we currently, the way we are structured, the way we are structured is that we have a foundation which is incorporated in Estonia, and that foundation has the rights over the project for the moment until our DAO is deployed on the mainnet, and so that's the entity that is responsible for the project for the moment.
Okay, so it looks like that's all the questions now. So we got a couple of quick questions. Thank you all for participating in the live stream and asking the questions. Remember, in the future, we open up the AMA thread at Reddit like a couple of days before the meeting. You can post questions there. So we will be taking questions in the live chat as well, but the AMA thread is going to be our main source. So that's it for this meeting. We didn't have a lot of stuff for this one, but we're going to have stuff for the next one. So catch you all next time, and thank you for participating.